Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by the Topoco Lodge. Carolina Mountain Trout, Black Angus Choice Ribeye, Wild Blackenberry Salmon, even hand-tossed oven-fired pizzas. Just some of the reasons to check out the Topoco Tavern this week. Scenic views right by the river and all that great food. They've got all your favorite craft brews on tap. Just great views. The Topoco Lodge and the Topoco Tavern. If you've never been up there, get up there right now. Leaves changing. Beautiful time to get up there. The Topoco Lodge. All right. We have a couple of graphics here to show you. Tennessee's remaining foes are in blue there. These were the results yesterday. South Carolina lost. Will Muschamp was upset with the refs in that game. They lost to Florida 38-27 to fall to 3-4. UAB 6-1. They beat Old Dominion 38-14. Kentucky, I think it was the first home SEC shutout since 2010. I think I heard that. They lost, fell to 3-4 to Georgia. And then 2-5 Vandy beats 5-2 Missouri, 21-14. If you're sitting there going, ha, now Missouri's beatable, you also have to say, Vandy might not be a sure thing. Let's stick with that for a second. And let me ask you very quickly, if Maurer plays, let's assume he plays, any sure wins or sure losses on that list for Tennessee of those last 5 games?
In my opinion, no. Either way. I
Even
think
if he doesn't, whether he plays or
whether
not?
he plays or not. I can't even look. If you lose to Georgia State, you're susceptible to losing to anybody. And I realize Maurer wasn't playing, but still, I just think this team has enough flaws. While they are getting better, I can't sit there and say they're going to beat UAB. UAB's 6-1. They're playing pretty good football. I don't think there's a sure win or a sure loss.
And they got a pretty good passing quarterback, too. Josh, sure win or sure loss? Very quickly.
UAB's quarterback's probably the best they'll face the rest of the way. So I would say no, there's not a sure win or sure loss. A few you sure better win, but no, I can't say it for sure.
Yeah, and I agree. I don't think there is either.
Okay, that's interesting. So we move on to the next graphic here. Chris Lane, our excellent director, who puts up with me. South Carolina is 3-4 to date, as I mentioned. There's their schedule so far. My question for you guys, you know, if you go back and look when they're getting beaten, they put points on Alabama as well now. Then they lose badly at Missouri, come back, beat Kentucky. The overtime win at Georgia, they played pretty well yesterday. Their quarterback was back yesterday. Right. Who's the better team right now? We know about the Muschamp curse versus Tennessee. Who do you think is the better football team as of today, Tennessee or South Carolina? It's a hard question. That's why
it is. I'm gonna go South Carolina by a nose. Just a little. I think their defense, which you can't necessarily tell by the scores, but I think their defense has been more consistent longer. Tennessee's defense seems to have stepped it up a little bit the last 2 weeks.
Straight up neutral field, I'd probably say South Carolina's the better team, 3 to 4 points better. But the game's going to be in Knoxville. This is one Tennessee has to win, I think should win. At home, I think Tennessee can be the better team.
I think it's South Carolina. And I know comparing scores can be challenging, but Tennessee got whipped by Georgia. And South Carolina beat them, and also South Carolina against Florida played Florida a much better game than Tennessee did. I think South Carolina's a little bit better.
I think Tennessee's going in the right direction. There's no question about that. I think that there's a little too much optimism coming out of the Alabama game. People saying we were right there with them, and it's like, yeah, but they didn't have their star. That would have been like somebody saying, well, we hung with Tennessee when they didn't have Peyton Manning or Heath Schuler. And granted, you had good guys behind them, but I think they're going in the right direction. I don't look at it and say, well, we're neck and neck with Alabama after last night's game.
No.
So, all right, when we come back, it's our Beat the House segment. What does Chuck think? That's what matters. Oh, and we have a new leader, I think a first-time ever leader in our pick segment. Come on back. Big wager last week. Lots of faith in the Vols. It paid off. Come on back.